All right, guys, welcome. My name is John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur here. I think our mic was out there for a second. It is great to have you here on Inspirations for Your Life. Thank you so much for being here, whether you're here now, July 5th, 8:34 p.m., 8:34 a.m., 3 a.m., 3 p.m., 6 a.m., 6 p.m. It doesn't really matter when you're here. I'm just so grateful that you are here with me on Inspirations for Your Life. Uh, so our topic for the week was keys to perseverance. We had a great guest on earlier this week, and we started to dissect things about perseverance. So, what I want to talk about today, which I think is a good wrap up, is taking action to be perseverant in your life. We're on series 3, by the way, show 27. We're on episode number 7. Wow. We're the series 3 means we're already in the third year. We're not through the third year, but we're good ways through the third year. So the first topic, ladies and gentlemen, that I want to talk about is the importance of having meaning and living with a purpose. So many of you guys know that I've been trained to do running for a long time. And in some of the music that I listen to, what I always hear from people, which is very interesting, is that, don't run for someone else. Because if you run for other reasons and it's not for you, okay, then you're going to burn out and you're not going to enjoy running. You're not going to enjoy whatever it is. If you're eating, if you're baking, if you're teaching, if you're cooking, it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you are doing something because of someone else, you are going to quit because you're going to burn out. I mean, that's just the number one thing. So when we think about the importance, we have to have meaning and living with a purpose. Now, that purpose is not someone else's purpose. That purpose is your purpose. Okay? It is your purpose. That is very, 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 very important. And I know it sounds crazy. And I know you're probably saying, hey, maybe it's something you don't understand yet. Well, maybe you don't understand it, but I think the thing you do have to understand is that if you do something for the wrong reasons or for the reasons that are going to potentially, let's say, burn you out, then you're going to want to stop doing those things because you will burn out. That is inevitable. All right. Number 2, ladies and gentlemen, is understanding how to be vulnerable without being a doormat. Now, I know there are some people that aren't vulnerable at all. And when they're not vulnerable at all, well, then they can't open up to anything. But then there are people that are just the opposite. They are too vulnerable. So there has to be that balance. And you have to know when somebody is abusing you like a doormat and when you have to just open up your heart so that you can let somebody in. And I know you might be saying, John, I was burned. I was taken advantage of by friends. I was hurt in relationships, whether platonic, non-platonic. I get it. So I'm not telling you to open up wide. I'm just saying to embrace it and trust a little bit. And maybe, see how it goes and then open up a little bit more. What some people do is they don't open it at all. And some people open up too much. And then they really feel like they got their head handed to them. So I want you to be in the middle, and I want you to be, let's say, proactive in how you feel to what you could be doing to become a person who is vulnerable but not feeling like a doormat. I think that is the most important thing that I want to share with you. Don't feel like a doormat. That is really, really important. Okay, so we've been talking a lot this week about resilience. So how is it that we can be resilient? I mean, we can learn from Jen Drummond, who was on our show earlier this week. We can talk about the fact that to be resilient, we have to be like that ball, the stress ball you squeeze, and then suddenly the stress ball you let go, and then it, goes back into form again. Resilience means that, whatever we've gone through, whatever challenges we've gone through, we can bounce back and be whole again. Now, I know that sounds like something that's virtually impossible. It's not. you have to realize that you always have to get home. You always have to get back. And I say this with people, when they put gas in their tank, like make sure you have enough gas to get home, right? Especially if it's late at night. Even if you can afford putting more gas in your car, if you don't know if there's a gas station open and it's late at night, how are you going to be able to get gas? Like there may be no gas where you are. And to get out to a gas station might be, I don't know, 15, 20 miles. And you may not have enough gas to get out to that gas station. So you have to realize that. And so we become resilient by preparing, by being proactive in our environment, like we learned from Jen about, a great slogan she had is people before peaks. And I think that's a great thing. I think a lot of people in business, they're out for what they can get, but they don't put the person first. And I think that was a great thing that Jen had said, is that people before peaks. Even though she wanted to reach the top of those mountains, but she never put the top of the mountains ahead of someone else's well-being, ahead of their safety. I mean, a couple times they had to turn back. There was one time they were worried about a guy who might have gotten frostbitten and might had to have his foot amputated if they didn't take care of him soon enough. So there's things like that. And just knowing that you've got everyone else's back. It's not easy to do that, but it's important to build a team that you trust and one that's going to trust you. It's a two-way street. So to be resilient, you've got to have not only the resources, and I don't just mean things like, people and support, but I also mean, do you have the knowledge to be resilient? And if you don't, you got to make sure you have mentors there for you. Like with Jen, she was climbing the mountains. She had to hire mentors to help her up those mountains and tell her about the situations. I mean, it's a lot easier to go on a journey with someone when they've been on the journey, because they can advise you of pitfalls, what to do, what to change, what to be alert for. And I think that's a very important thing when we think about resilience, okay? Very, very important. So another thing I want to talk about is the ability to delay gratification. A lot of people, regardless of what it is, they are wanting to gain pleasure right away. We could be talking about food. We could be talking about anything. And they don't understand that there is a control factor we need to have. Entrepreneurs know that we have to control our desire for the gratification till later, because we have to do what's right for ourselves and for our company and for the venture. And if we just look at the fact, I'm going to do this because I'm going to get pleasure today, that may not be the best thing for our company or for the venture that we're working on. So that is very, very important, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I can't tell you how much it is, but it's very, very important. And I think you'll hopefully understand that it's important. And when you do, you will know that being perseverant is a key to having a component of delayed gratification, right? We all know that when we delay gratification with food, if we have a little bit, not a lot, we know that we can enjoy the gratification of losing weight because we didn't have so much of it, right? It's important, ladies and gentlemen, to have a sense of humor. Yes, a sense of humor is great whenever we talk about resilience, whenever we talk about, being perseverant. We want to make sure we have a good sense of humor. I'm not saying you have to be a comic. I'm not saying you have to be somebody who's on the Tonight Show and make everyone laugh, but you got to have a little humor, okay? Looking for the light at the end of every dark tunnel. Now, this is something I talked about the other night, but I want to bring it up because I think it's really important that we share it, because a lot of people, they don't start down the tunnel because it looks dark. They're afraid of what they might encounter. They don't realize that maybe they have to bring flashlights, or they don't realize that they got to keep persisting. And even though that light doesn't seem like it's there, they've got to have faith that it will be there. And when you have that faith, you're able to see that small light. People that don't have the faith never see that little glimmer of light. Even if it's a little speckle, they never see it. And they turn around and they miss a potential opportunity that could be a great success for them. Okay. We are here for the long game. We're not here for today. We're not here for tomorrow. We're here for the long game. Whether it's a client, right? And I say this with clients, we're not here to rip them off. We're here because of the long-term relationship. If we're here for just today or tomorrow, that's like the car salesman, they just do what they need to get by. That's all they do. They do what they do to get by. And that's a real big problem because they're living paycheck to paycheck because they're just living for the fact that they need to just take care of today. When I want to tell you that life is about the long game, it's about the relationships. It's about how you treat somebody today, how you treat somebody tomorrow, and how they're going to remember. You remember, people won't remember a lot of things, but they will remember one thing, and that is how you made them feel. That is really key. All right, another point that's important, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you will forget this, is be kind to yourself. I mean, you don't have to be hard on yourself. Yes, you can discipline yourself, but it doesn't mean you have to be unkind to yourself. Just like you're kind to others, you got to be kind to yourself. You can't be kind to others until you're actually kind to yourself. I don't know if you know that. So just, give yourself a spoonful of kindness every day, or a tablespoon. Be kind. If something's not going right, be kind to yourself. Give yourself a little bit of slack. Days I'm doing my running, maybe I'm not up to doing the run today. I'm like, okay, self, I can't do the run today, but I'm going to do it later, or I'm going to do half and then do half. But I make sure that I'm kind to myself. Maybe there was something I worked on and I needed to take care of my body. And so is that skipping out on the commitment? No. There's an honest reason to why I'm not running. It could be cold, it could be weather, it could be an ache that I have. And so that might be a good reason that I don't want to get hurt of, being kind to myself, right? The last thing I want to share with you, and I think it's really key, is look for the lesson. When things don't go the way you have planned or the way you hoped, look for the lesson that is present. And if you can't find a lesson, say to yourself, well, okay, I can't find a lesson, but what could I have learned by this? I know it's not a great situation, but did I learn anything today? Maybe I did. Maybe I'll need to write these things down, and I'll have to come back to this a couple days and say, gee, what did I learn? Because maybe you're caught up emotionally in the moment and you can't learn something because your ego or your brain and heart are so onto like the disappointment that you didn't do it, that you're just like not thinking about the lesson because you're so took down. And so go back later and learn what the lesson is, or ponder on it. And you'll find that your ego and your brain, your body will be more likely to want to work with you because now you've got over that disappointment and now you're ready to say, okay, gee, all right, this didn't go the way I wanted. What can I learn? I can learn from this that I moved too fast. Or I can learn to this that I trusted people too soon. Or I can learn from this that unfortunately, not everyone tells the truth. Or I can learn from this that I need to be a better judge of character. I can learn from this that I've got more power than I thought I did. All right, guys, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege. It's been a pleasure and an amazing honor to be with you this fantastic July 5th, Friday evening. I hope you'll like, love, and support the channel. Comment below, tag your friends, colleagues, and associates, share this. That way, everyone you know on social media, be sure to like me on all my great channels, including TikTok, and I'll catch you guys real soon. All right, everyone, be well. And remember, the key to persistence is many things, including resilience and including to being a person that has a backup plan. Make sure you have that backup plan. Make sure you are proactive and not retroactive. Because when you're proactive, you can be calm. And you can say, oh, gee, I planned for that. But when something doesn't go as planned and you don't have a backup plan, it's like, now what do I do? All right, guys, have yourself a fantastic evening, and I'll catch you real soon. Be well.